Okay, so tonight we have WOLFSRUDEL. I know Art's going to be laughing at my pronunciation straight away. Versus No Pain No Gain. WOLFSRUDEL, as you can assume, are a German team, although they have one Austrian player, one German, I think.
Yeah, due to a last minute team change, basically, but we'll move past that and focus on the match.
Yeah, so one team change for WOLFSRUDEL as they kind of had someone drop out. But anyway, we see Chimera Cartel versus US Cartel.
Very, very interesting. Lots of cartel. I like to see it. It's what I'm trying to learn, so this is good stuff for me. So far, it looks like everybody is going for a pretty standard opener.
Yeah, standard opening. Double gold from Nibiru Cartel. Double gold from Leo X, otherwise known as Big 15 US. Single gold, single aluminium from Jaxi Chimera.
Yep, and he is going for the upgrade for that first gold refinery as per usual.
Yep, and double gold for Sigeuner Cartel. Now, interestingly, before this game, me and Arten played a quick practice game versus Team WOLFSRUDEL, and me and Arten played US Cartels. They have just faced this matchup, so hopefully that'll give them a little bit of idea what they will run into.
It's pretty fortunate considering I don't think you guys even planned for that at all.
No, it was just a practice game, me and Arten playing our selected factions.
See a flare out from Leox, probably signifying that he's going to go for that bank.
You do see that most of the banks on this map are very centralized, so you can kind of take bank after bank if you send out a few snipers, and it's a really nice thing to do. So the SAS, you'll see SAS used from Chimera and snipers used from US to try and take control of all those banks.
Got a scout from Sigeuner passing over Nibiru's base. Nibiru. Getting some good scout, he's seen pretty much everything. Looks like Nibiru is going for a more economic-heavy build for cartel opening, which is not too bad of an idea on this map, considering you're pretty far away from other players. You can get away with a little bit more greed early on. We see Sigeuner getting ready to drop down his light vehicle bay as well.
Jaxi just plonking down a sentinel turret, which is probably a good idea. You see that recon from Leo X running across the map now, so that one sentinel turret will be good just to hold back that pretty effective little recon rush that the US can do.
It looks like Leox is sending some Marines and Stingers, which is actually a pretty good idea, facing off against Cartel. They're going to go up to the bank in the middle. It's a good way to catch scouts and stuff to have a couple Stingers, because they'll pretty much one-shot a K-Max, no problem. And we have Sigeuner sending his infantry to center banks. Pretty much all the players are going to be going for center banks, except for it looks like Nibiru is staying away from that and just focusing on building his economy the refinery way.
That you have to do as Cartel. You really need to get that economy up quite quickly.
And we see Sigeuner scouting over Leox's base, and Leox is just loading up a striker with Marines. Don't think he's going to go for a rush. I think this is going to be for taking a bank.
Most probably, and you do see it heading in that direction, although it did change direction straight away. Jaxi was able to shoot down the scout from Nibiru with his one sentinel turret.
It's like Leox is sending his recon to the left, which may actually catch some of Jaxi's infantry out in the open. Yeah, looks like he's going to cut right into that line, and that could actually be a pretty good way to deny some early bank income.
And those are just felons, so they won't be able to do any damage to that recon.
Just some felons, some escaped convicts.
Although, so far, he hasn't killed any. Pretty decent micro from Jaxi getting them up the hills in time.
Yep, He did cut off half of them, though. The other half did retreat instead of coming down into the valley. Won't mean much now, but as the game progresses, if that bank stays empty, that's a lot of potential income that'll be lost out by Jaxi.
Yeah. So far we see banks taken pretty equally from each side, although the one bank I believe has been taken by Sigourney and the other has been taken by Jaxi, whereas the two banks on the red side have both been taken by Leo X. Now I believe that Leo X is a very, very good US versus US player, so it'll be interesting to see how he plays against the Chimera Cartel matchup.
Yes, it will, especially if it's not something that you've practiced against a lot. You're used to a certain matchup. If you don't know what to do against other ones, it could be to your detriment. Looks like Nibiru, he's got several Jackals in production. Probably going to look to do a lot of bank harass. But we'll have to wait and see.
Jackals are very good for taking bank.
He's also still going heavy on the refineries. Getting the on-map resources. And we do see a Hind from Sigourney as well as some infantry starting to push against Nibiru.
And there are a few more Hinds in the back there coming up from Sigourney.
Yep, I see that. Sigourney picking things up. I was actually playing a few matches with Sigourney the other day where he wasn't playing Cartel, and hopefully I taught him a little bit for his Cartel play. See, he's doing a pretty good job. He's still got infantry. Now we have a Hind duel as Nibiru brings out his own Hind as well as some infantry that he dropped. It's a pretty even battle, actually.
Yeah.
It's like, it's gonna come down to micro here.
We see another Hind coming up from Sigourney though, so he will have 3 Hinds.
Oh, it looks like Nibiru had more contractors, so he was able to win the infantry fight, and now it's just a duel between Hinds. And he also did bring out one of his Jackals. So far, this is pretty much the only action happening. It's equal number of Hinds just dueling each other in the skies. It's like both players are going to start backing off now. It was an interesting first engagement for sure.
A few infantry killed near Sigourney's bank by his Hinds. Not sure whose infantry there were, I just missed it.
Also noticing Leox now has 2 more of the center banks, so he's definitely going to be pulling in a lot of the cash, which is very good for a US player. He's going to be able to kickstart a lot of projects. We also see a Little Bird and 2 Guardians coming out already.
Although interesting to see, Jaxi is pushing up with Pumas full of SAS, so he may use those SAS to try and take those banks, which will be a good thing because you don't want to let the US sit on that much gold.
Exactly. Yeah, man. He's probably going to catch a lot with those SAS. Meanwhile, Sigourney is still probing the front lines of Nibiru with a larger task force of Hinds, with more Hinds on the way. You see a Little Bird and the Guardians responding to the Pumas and SAS. I'm not quite sure how that's going to turn out. Because the Guardians do not have the Enlos upgrade just yet. So they'd have to get within range of the Pumas in order to actually engage them. So it looks like they're just going to be poking at each other, kiting back and forth.
And let's remember that Miz and SAS can shoot air, so he doesn't want to get too close with those Guardians.
Exactly. And the Sigourney probing Nibiru's base with a Hind just to see what he has for anti-air. He almost lost that Hind. It escaped with 1 hit point. Exactly.
Oh, wow.
That is 1 lucky flying tank.
Jaxi did end up losing those SAS to the Guardian.
You see Sigourney and Nibiru going at it again. Sigourney is able to pick off quite a few units here, and he might actually be able to pick off some of these Brem ADUs as well. Picked off 2 Hinds. He's been taking out the Grinches that have been sent out by Nibiru. And
he did manage to take out an automatic as well.
Yep, and there goes one of the Brems. And Sigourney right now is picking away
Barracks
at Nibiru. And we see bunkers being deployed inside of Nibiru's base.
And those are bunkers from Leo X, so he is deploying them for Nibiru.
That is actually not a bad idea. Because the only defense Cartel has early on is that artillery turret, which cannot fire at aircraft. So having a few bunkers can definitely keep Hinds at bay much longer.
Yeah. Good to see Sigourney pushing into the base now. I was about to say that there's no defense up, so he mustn't be cautious. He must do as much damage as he can.
Leok's Apache force, or Guardian force, has been pulled back to his base for repairs, and it might end up going up to Nibiru to help support him. Sigourney, by the way, made a very good play by taking out that barracks, because that actually cuts off some of the tech advancement of Cartel. He's got to rebuild that to get the prison module. So he currently cannot produce Hinds at all.
Yeah, we see those turrets do go up, those MG nests do go up though.
Yep.
Unfortunate his placement just wasn't good enough to stop those units being built before they got there.
Sigourney?
There's still a lot of harass.
Yeah, Sigourney is positioning very well. He's staying away from the danger zones. He knows that since he cut the barracks off, that there's no Hind production available until another prison module gets deployed, basically. It looks like right now Nibiru is focusing on Grinches.
Yeah, big Guardian force from Leo X pushing into Jaxie's base. Jaxie does have some Tigres up.
Yep, and it does look like they have the No, they don't have the anti-air missiles yet. Not yet. But it is enough to get Leo X to back off. Sigourney did manage to pick off a refinery of Nibiru. It is now being pushed back by the Grinches. I almost said Jackals.
We see a sword vehicle bay coming out from Jaxie now. Those that are most likely to get Terminators, which are pretty effective against air.
Leo X is now responding to his ally Nibiru's base with his Guardian force. So this could be bad for Sigourney if he doesn't start backing off. Could take a lot of losses here. We see Sigourney is determined. He wants to pick off this other refinery, which is a pretty good idea. Here come the Guardians. Only one Hind lost. Sigourney is getting out of there. Very well played.
That Hind was one-shotted.
Yes, it
by all
was.
his Guardians.
I think anything would have been one-shotted by all those Guardians.
Yes. Although we see now Jaxie harassing Leo X's base with Tigres. His resource expansion.
Yep, he did take out 2 refineries so far. Very nice. Leo X still does have the bank advantage here, so he is going to be able to sustain quite a high amount of cash flow despite not having an extra refinery. And Leo X is probing with his helicopter force, trying to find Sigourney's Hinds, but Sigourney did pull back and is regrouping. We do see a prototype bay going down from Sigourney, so we're likely to see Spectres come out as well.
Jaxie pushed into Leo X's base with those Tigres, but Leo X has got a bunch of blazers up.
Yes, that will make a bad day for a lot of helicopters. Unless, of course, you're a Super Hind.
Well, Tigres do have those countermeasures, just you need a lot of them to stop that many blazers from damaging you.
Tigres also get a lot more menacing when they get that range upgrade.
Literally, as Leo X builds his Guardian force back, so Sigourney is pushing forward with more Hinds.
That is very good timing by Sigourney. Whether he intended it or not, it's working out in his favor.
I think he'll claim he did. Whether he did or didn't, he will claim he did.
I would too. I mean, that's just how it goes. Jaxie continuing to expand his economy, and man, that Leo X's Guardian Force is getting quite massive. And now that he's got Blazers supporting them, Jaxie's not going to be able to rely on those Tigres to fight off the Apaches.
Stealth enemy unit detected.
We see Nibiru did send out some more automatics to take on Sigourney. However, Sigourney is doing a pretty good job picking a lot of them off. He did just lose a lot to a group of Grinches.
Interesting to see that Jaxie is getting Fennec up. That could be a little bit risky because that Guardian Force obviously has a little bird with it.
Yep.
So he needs to avoid that little bird when he sneaks into Yoex's space with those Fennec.
We'll see what happens.
Notice that the red team of No Pain No Gain do have most of the center banks.
Yep, a few of those Fennecs did just get spotted, and a couple of them got picked off. But at this point, Team No Pain No Gain is well aware that those Fennecs are going into Nibiru's base.
Stealth enemy unit detected.
It will be interesting to see what he chooses to snipe.
Yeah, it looks like he did forget to put them back on hold fire after they got detected. So Nibiru knows exactly where they are right now, and there is a little bird hovering above the base as the Guardians come in. And yeah, there they go. Jaxie, however,
Stealth enemy
or Jackal.
unit detected.
No, yeah, Jaxie. Sorry. He is pushing Leo X's space again with the Tigres.
They're doing a pretty effective job. As long as they can, like, keep out of range of those blazers, they can be effective.
Yes, that is a lot of Blazers, though.
But they are a hell of a lot slower than those Tigres, so as long as the Tigres are microed properly, they will stay alive.
Yeah. Jaxie did do a little bit of damage to the base, but probably not as much as he would have wanted. Those Blazers are very, very intimidating. That is a lot of Blazers. Meanwhile, Leo X is keeping his Apache force over by his allies' base. Jaxie's looking to pick off this refinery, but here come all those Blazers, and they are going to get in range. Oh, that is not good. That is horrifying.
I question the wisdom of trying to kill a used refinery.
Yeah. That was a lot of Tigre's loss too. So many Tigres down. It looks like Jaxie is still choosing to focus on mass-producing Tigres. That's the only major production I see going on. Meanwhile, Leo X and his Guardian Task Force is roaming the map, looking for prey.
I'd like to see him push with that force though now. I mean,
yeah, he's definitely got the power.
He obviously doesn't know this, but there's nothing to stop him right now, so...
Oh. And also considering that both Chimera and Cartel right now for WOLFSRUDEL, they got a helicopter task force, and Leo X is got plenty of Blazers supporting his Guardians at this point.
A whole bunch more Fennec detected there by the little bird and slaughtered by the Guardians.
That is just very unfortunate for Jaxie. He's trying, but he keeps on... It's not even really his fault. He just ends up going in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah. It would, in my opinion, be a lot better idea to invest the resources in Terminators.
Yes. I think Terminators and Panzer at this point would be a very good combo to face off against the Guardian play.
Yeah.
Because the Blazers aren't going to do much of anything to the vehicles on the ground.
Pretty big force here from Sigourney of Spectres and some Hinds, but they're not going to be able to do anything against those Guardians.
Yeah, no, Leo X is in position once more, and that little bird is going to defeat those Spectres' camouflage with ease.
Stealth enemy unit detected.
Although it does look like he's trying to bait out that Guardian force, because he has garrisoned a whole bunch of buildings with Grinches, and he has got a few automatics and supines, although he's pushing back now.
Yep. And the automatics do have the upgrade, so they are able to fire at some of those missiles, but that is a lot of missiles.
Stealth enemy unit detected.
It's a lot.
Yes.
It's a little bit of a back and forth poke over here between these two task forces.
It would have been a much better idea to keep in range of those garrison buildings with the Grinches and use their anti-air to his benefit.
Yep. Exactly. And it does look like the Guardians have spotted those buildings. They are launching missiles at them. And we see the blazer numbers just multiply for Leo X. And he is actually pushing towards Jaxi with nothing but blazers and a couple of strikers.
And that will work, because the only thing Jaxi has in defense is T-grade.
Yes, indeed. Things are not looking good for Jaxi at this moment. For Team WOLFSRUDEL as a whole.
No, they haven't focused enough on anti-air to prevent that Guardian blob from getting so big. I mean, in all honesty, with the current strength of helicopters, there's just no way of stopping that many Guardians.
That is such an immense amount of lasers. Huge engagement between Sigourney and Leo X's force on the top. Meanwhile, the Blazers pushing in at Jaxi's base. He knows he's in trouble. He's pulling those T-Grays back, but those Blazers doing the work. Looks like the two armies backed off again at the top. And here we finally see a single Terminator out of Jaxi. Let's see if he can start getting those numbers up. I definitely agree with you that he should have been doing that much earlier.
I mean, Terminators would absolutely destroy all those blazers.
Yep. Especially since they have literally zero support. They have a couple of strikers and that's about it.
Yeah, a few striker MGS with Tusk 1 have just arrived.
He is reinforcing now. So it's becoming an even more formidable ground force. We just see Leo X looks like he's pulling his Guardian force back down. And he's going to catch Sigourney's Spectres right here. Or no, he's not. Did he lose his little bird?
He did lose his little bird.
Wow. Very nice. I don't know. I'm not quite sure what Sigourney could do at this point that would make a huge impact against Nibiru. But his Spectres are unimpeded at the moment. Let's see what he can do to capitalize on that. Meanwhile, it looks like both teams kind of standing off from each other. Jaxi is slowly getting those Terminators up, but at this point I'm starting to feel like it's a little too late, because it's such a small number and Leo X's army is only growing as well.
Stealth enemy unit detected.
And Red Team as a whole has a majority of the banks at this point as well. And Sigourney did get a couple Spectres caught out by this task force as 3 more Little Birds got added to Leo X's army.
And Jaxi did run 3-4 Terminators into that blob of armor, and 2 died very quickly.
Definitely not the move you want to make, especially since he does have these 2 repair outposts. He should be hugging those with the Terminators. So far it seems like Leo X is pretty determined to push right up that road, and those outposts are in his way. Sigourney has ambushed with his Spectres. Nibiru does have a single Spectre lying in wait, but that Guardian force is still there, and that's probably going to be the end of those Spectres. Since Leo X was able to replenish his little birds.
Sigourney does have some automatics with Grim, but the Brim are not going to repair through that immense damage.
No, not with that many Guardians. That is a lot of Guardians.
Those Guardians will just be alphaing those vehicles straight off the map.
Yep. Leo X ground force still gathering steam. It's got a lot of strikers supported by those blazers. It's probably gonna go for a push now. Meanwhile, Sigourney's army starting to dwindle, trying to take on the full might of Nibiru and Leo X together. Leo X, the Guardian's still picking off one unit at a time, and that's all he needs to do. We see Jaxi moving out with Tigres. Looks like he is hunting some refineries of Leo X, but Leo X's army is right there, and that is so much AA. Helicopters, be warned. Leo X pushing with his Guardians against the economy of Sigourney now.
Sigourney does have a decent automatic force up, but not enough. Feel both of them transitioned into automatics and Terminators respectively just too late.
Yeah. Yep, it was a little bit too late, and they were still trying to harass, and while they were producing these units, they were also getting them picked off instead of waiting for that critical mass.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing is the early harass was really decent, but they should have built up a mass after that to follow with, and instead they chose to continue harassing for just too long.
Yep.
Stealth enemy unit detected.
Well, Jaxi,
we are going to see Sigourney's automatics run into that Guardian force now.
Jaxi's Tigres did a little bit of damage to Leo X's force there. They practically ran into each other. But overall, it does not look like Leo X took too many casualties there. I think Jaxi should have stayed in a little bit closer and dished out the damage, since there wasn't any official, dedicated anti-air in that fight to stop him.
We see Leo X pushing forward with his armor now.
Yep.
Jaxi did get up a few exo soldiers, but they won't be of much use here.
No, the Blazers will actually do a lot to those exo soldiers. The Gatling guns.
Yeah, you can see that happening now.
Yep. Things are not looking good for Jaxi. Leo X catching all those Tigres right over his Blazers. That was a massacre. The Gatling guns shredded all of those. And yep, things are not looking good for Jaxi at all. Looks like Leo X might finally be pushing right into the base of Jaxi. Yep, there's the GG from Jaxi.
And it's interesting looking at this. Both the forces on either side of the map belong to Leo X.
Exactly.
The Guardian force on one side and the Blazer Striker force on the other side.
I don't know what Nibiru has been trying to build this whole time.
It just shows you the strength of that US economy.
I know, right? He took a lot of the banks early on, and Nibiru even let him take a couple of the banks in the middle that normally he would have gone for, and I see why. Leo X just macroed the heck out of that game.
Interesting, Nibiru does comment that he didn't play well.
Sigourney was doing very well, harassing him early on. It was only thanks to Leo X going over there to support that he was able to keep Nibiru from taking extreme amounts of damage. But Sigourney did a very good job with picking off that early barracks, like I said, because he immediately halted the capability to produce Hinds for Nibiru. But like you said, they stayed in the harass game for too long instead of transitioning into making a death ball of an army and focusing on their economy.
Yeah, so what I would have liked to see there is the early harass, which they did pretty effectively, and then I would have liked to see them transfer into automatics
Stealth
and
enemy unit
terminators
Exactly.
as soon as possible. Because the only way to counter air right now, if any, is to have more anti-air than they have air.
Pretty much, yep. There's the game
surrender from
over.
Seguin.
That was our first game. Very good early game, but later on, Team WOLFSRUDEL definitely had some difficult decision making, is what it looked like.
Okay, so we will take 5-minute break and then we will get the next game up.
All right.
Now we see the same matchup. The US Cartel versus the Cartel Chimera.
However, the teams did not maintain their same colors.
I didn't even notice that. I even looked out for that and did not notice that.
But for those watching, keep in mind that the red team in this match is actually WOLFSRUDEL, and blue team is No Pain No Gain. We did not do a good job at making sure they kept their team colors in the lobby, but we are now joined by Cruelty as well, so...
Hey guys.
Alright.
Yeah, to be fair
Alright.
to them, we didn't even notice that, so...
Exactly. So far looking pretty standard from both teams yet again, at least as far as the openers are concerned.
Yeah, pretty standard plan. I thoroughly dislike the placement of Big 15's refineries. I'd rather have them both at the same distance from the HQ. But,
Yes.
what can you do, right?
It happens.
Yeah. Sticking just with one barracks though. Going for the mid banks though. Leox is. So just going for the bank in the back though. I guess if you open with this kind of aggression toward the mid banks, why not just go for the bank further away?
Yeah.
I would agree, yep.
Of course we do see that Sigeuner? Yeah,
Correct.
Sigeuner is doing the same. But he has some weird barracks placement. I think if he placed it more towards the mid, he might be faster to the banks. Of course, in this case, it doesn't really matter since Leox is not going for that forward bank. So.
I know, we're all gonna be getting the OCD ticks here.
Yep.
Now...
It's interesting though that neither Jaxi or Nibiru went for the hybrid refinery placement.
They did
Yeah,
have that
that is-
opportunity, and it's generally, or it's actually always the better idea to do that, because that hybrid refinery will basically double your output, because you will get both resources.
Yeah. For Chimera, I guess it's the least effective, since if you do go with the upgrade on the hybrid, which I strongly advise to not do, you mine out within 2 minutes, and you're forced to sell something. And you have to keep in mind that when you're building Chimera refineries, they not just only cost 1600, they also cost 1000 to upgrade them.
Yes, they
And
do.
the 1000 cash to upgrade them, you don't get refunded. So sure, when you sell something, you get 33% back, but that doesn't count for the upgrade you did on the refinery. So building a ton of refineries and selling them afterwards for Chimera is not a good idea, if you ask me. It's not efficient at all.
No, yep, I totally see what you're saying. You see a lot of ninjas going in production for Jaxi. We got 5. One's already out too.
Yeah, I guess the general idea here is to harass the cartel.
Yeah,
with
get in
some
at
of those
the
ninjas.
cartel economy and also have a little bit of defense against helicopter play.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess that's what I like about cartel opening double refineries. Since what you see Nibiru doing here, since he opened like 4 refineries in his main base, His base is very compact, so 1 or 2 automatics will be enough to cover his whole base against
Exactly.
ninjas.
Yep.
And he even has his own scout to scout for incoming ninjas. Like he placed it in
He's
the right
prepared.
path.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
knows. We also see some Grinches deployed as well. Even more deterrent.
Interesting seeing a lot of ninjas up from Jaxi already.
Yep, and they are moving out too. But they don't have the weapon upgrade just yet.
Yep. Oh, and a little lag here for me. Not sure.
Yeah, lag for me as well.
Yeah.
I think we all hit that. I think we're good now.
Yeah, yeah. And we see a very defensive artillery turret coming out from Zigeuner. Some very conservative play, I'd say. Like also both players on the red team right now not expanding that much. Like Jaxi only has the one refinery on his lower ground. And the cartel hasn't moved out of his own base yet. It's now expanding towards the aluminum.
We
Next to
see a
Spec though.
flare from Leo X right in Jaxie's base. Not sure
Yeah.
what he's marking for.
Well, he's probably saying like hit the Chimera, because Chimera early game is pretty weak. Like sure he'll have ninjas out and maybe he'll have some grenadiers out, but at this stage of the game the Chimera just wants to expand, take
Yep.
more refineries, and get to that late game where you get Tigris and Terminators and whatnot.
And that's exactly what you want to stop them from doing when you're playing against them.
Yeah, exactly.
So Grenadiers
Alright.
coming out from Jaxi and then he cancelled them straight away. I don't know what was up with that.
Miner does have a couple hinds though, as well as one fully loaded with infantry.
Oh, and actually catches the Jackal. Some very lucky play there, or well planned, who knows, from Zigeuner. That's gonna put a dent into Nibiru's harassing strategy. You see, he already has another one out, so he's gonna try and take over the banks, I would assume. However, he has stopped producing those Jackals and it now switched over to those Super Hinds.
Stealth enemy unit detected.
Jaxie's ninjas now do have the anti-air rocket upgrade. We'll see what he
Yeah.
can accomplish with those.
Not sure why he's keeping them in a group though. Like,
Yeah, he
If-
could spread them out and do
he
a
could
lot
spread them
more.
out, yeah.
Divide
Catch
the
some off
attention.
guard, but oh, he might catch some Super Hinds here. There we go. Zigeuner is scouting for him, but Nibiru just drops some Grinches, and that's a lot of damage there. One Super Hind goes down, second Super Hind goes down, and we see more of Zigeuner Super Hinds in action.
I would like to see those ninjas come forward, and there they do, and they insta pop a super high.
Yeah, yeah. Nibiru is forced to retreat here.
Yeah, with both Zigeuner and Jaxie pushing at him. He's only got a couple hinds to his name.
Stealth enemy unit detected.
I would like to see them make
Oh.
the push all the way in, because there is not a lot of
There go
defense
two
right
more hinds.
Yeah, Nibiru is actually in a bit of trouble right here. If he
Yep.
just keeps, if Zigeuner keeps the focus on those Grinches, then the ninjas will have free reign. And you see more Super Hinds coming in from Zigeuner, more K-Maxes going down. This is a great attack by these two guys.
Yep, Nibiru is about to be completely out of hinds. He has a Sherishin out, but that's not going to help him much at the moment.
Nope. Now we see Blazers from Big 15 coming out now with the upgraded version. So some nice teamwork there, but I guess the damage has been done sort of. If he keeps taking down more and more of those K-Maxes, more and more Hinds, he's gonna be in a great spot.
Yeah, this is a great play from
Oh,
WOLFSRUDEL.
but the Blazers get in range of the ninjas with their Gatling cannons,
Oh,
and
that
all
is...
of the ninjas
oh,
go down.
man.
That
That
was some
Gatling
poor
damage.
micro. Yeah.
The Goiner's going to back off as well. However, if I'm not mistaken, 5 Super Hinds could easily rush those Blazers without a problem. If
Yep.
they were in a
Oh
group.
no, and
But that
Segoiter made a
one,
rally point issue there. Oh, that's
yeah,
unfortunate. Takes down one Blazer though. I guess that's something. Yeah. But yeah, keep track of those rally points. And oh, there's another one going by the way, from his base. Let's see if he
hopefully he notices in time.
yeah. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, he does notice. All right, good stuff.
Good work.
Quite a few prisoners of war dropped by Sigourney there, unfortunate. 3 by my count.
Yep, 3. And they're wounded, so he can't retreat them.
Yeah, let's see if the bird actually takes advantage of this. At the moment, he's only building Grinches though, so not yet. And what do we have on the other side? I see Lyrics is on air.
Yeah.
ATC, by the way.
Building raptors and lightnings, very interesting.
Nibiru does have a loaded hind looking for an opening over at Sigoiner's base.
Yeah. And we now see Segoiner with the Jackal in the middle, so he's gonna try and harass him. Oh no, don't move
That's
too
too
close
close.
to the bank. Boy. Yep, that's what happens.
And here Nibiru at the back of Sigoiner's base. He's got Grinches and a Sherishin.
I would like to see Sigourney make another push though, because those defenses for Nibiru are very lacking at the moment. There's a couple of jackals and a single hind. 1 or 2 Grinches, and that's all.
Stealth enemy unit detected.
Yep. But
Sigoiner does
yeah,
have the napalm bombs as well now.
so yeah, cleans that up. We see some raptors going on, more raptors. Do we have lightnings as well? Yeah, lightning's going on to the cartel base, Chimera base. I'm sorry. So he's taking down 1 or 2 crushers. Some very nice harassment there from Leox. Would be nice to have maybe some ninjas in position, taking down those lightnings as they come in.
Some of the ninjas are over at Sigoiner's base, and he does have a couple spread out at his base now.
Detected.
But they're not far out enough. They should be near his expansions, because that's where he's getting harassed by the lightnings.
Exact. Yep. All right. Let's see. Do we see anything special in their bases? No. Nibiru actually going for a second barracks, so he's popping out quite a few infantry units. Maybe dropping some more with super hinds or with jackals taking the banks. See what he does.
A couple of Sigoiner's hinds get picked off by Leox Blazer Force.
Yeah, and it seems Lyrics has actually gone for the double light vehicle base, so he's looking to make a Tusk 1 push, I believe.
And again,
See
just
more and more strikers coming out.
Yeah, just
Sorry.
re-emphasizing the strength of the US economy there, with his ability to go double air control and then go for his double light vehicle bay after that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, you have to realize though, like once the air control towers are full, they're not costing you any resources unless you
This is
lose
true,
the
yeah.
aircrafts. So, yeah, it sure looks like he has 4 factories up and running, but it's actually only 2. But as of course, if he doesn't lose anything, and if he doesn't lose anything, then he's doing a good job.
Jaxie's ninjas getting caught out by Blazers once again.
Yeah. Yeah, just a really high focus on anti-air or air units for that matter on the red team. So Blazer's doing a particularly good job this game.
And it looks like Jaxie is starting to opt for that Namer Grenadier play.
Yeah. Not sure why Leox actually backed off there. He could have just ran in and with the Blazer Gatling gun would have taken care of all the Grenadiers.
We did see him doing that a lot in the first game as well, kind of backing off when he could have just pushed.
Yeah, he's playing it really safe.
Alright.
We've got
Nibiru actually managed to take the mid bank as well, the one on the red team side. So just slowly but steadily pushing in up towards the north side of this map. We see an infantry push now from Nibiru. We see a lot of Grinches.
just casually walking towards Sigourner's base.
Yeah. Well, there isn't really anything that counters it. Like, he's only building super hinds. Like,
Yep.
where are your jackals? Where are your automatics? What? You know, the problem with just spamming one unit is you get counted by one unit.
Yep, I mean, at the very least, you should have some infantry you can carry around to help support them on the ground.
Yep.
Stealth enemy unit
All those
detected.
grenadiers going down there to Leo X's ground armor force.
I missed that. But I see the victorious armor force.
Yep. Very smart of Leox here to not go up the ramp while there's two turrets waiting for him. He's just gonna go around and help his mate out by like harassing the economy of the teammate. So very nice decision making there. Should probably just drive through, continuing onwards, and then clearing this game up.
Nope, Sigourney's only got a few hinds to his name, and Leo X ground force is very intimidating.
But still backing up again. This is so weird.
Yeah, this is
Quite
a
a-
lot of what we saw first game, too.
Yeah, quite a few of Exo soldiers out from Jaxi. They are kind of pushing forward now.
Yep. No speed upgrade though. That's odd.
No any upgrades.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, he's having a bit of an aluminum problem, I think. I think he made too many exo soldiers to begin with.
He has given them the base capture upgrade though.
Alright.
Stealth enemy unit detected.
Not sure if going exos is the right idea against blazes though, but you'll have to get a good engage off. Does he have a prison or multiple prisons? Not even one. That's unfortunate.
We see Nibiru just picked off an artillery turret with his hinds, causing a lot of damage in the base of Sigourney. Meanwhile, Leo X has his jets still flying all over the place, looking for targets.
Yep. Spectre factory actually, or prototype bay for that matter, out on Sigeuner's base, but not really doing anything, not building anything. So I wonder what's going on there. Also, he built his tokamak reactor next to his HQ. That's pretty risky, if you ask me.
I would completely agree. I usually like to put it next to one of the expansion bays.
Yes.
That's
yes.
not next to my HQ.
Yes, exactly. Basically, rule of thumb when you play Cartel, don't place your tokamak reactor next to your HQ.
You see Leo X driving all the way around the base of Sigourney, going to come at him from behind.
Those
And there's
Exo
nothing
soldiers
back there.
just got speed.
I see that as they just start sprinting max speed. They are going to come at the back of Leo X's army. I think they should be trying to use the high ground here, but
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
gonna die so quickly to all
There's-
those blazes.
especially without the auto repair upgrade.
Stealth enemy unit detected.
Yeah, this
we
this
see-
ground force is way too large. Look at, yeah, just run into them. Yeah,
Yep. And
nice
then the
try though. Yeah,
combined force of no pain, no gain pushing against Sigourney, that's probably gonna put an end to this.
yeah. Probably should just drive in, take down the super hinds, take down the tokamak, take down the HQ,
Yep.
and then it's pretty much over.
There we have the GG out from Sigourney.
And that's the game.
And that's it. Yep. I have to admit though, a very very nice attack in early game.
Yeah. That was
If
almost
you,
a
if you, yeah.
It was almost a reflection of the first game. They did very good early on, and it was just that transitional period they didn't He didn't really seem to know how to transition.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, if Jaxie had paid attention to his ninjas there, yeah, probably would have helped a lot. Not losing it to Blazer. Oh,
Yeah.
I also think he might have maybe overdone it a bit on the ninja. If he had like one or two less and focused a bit more on eco, it would have been fine.
Yeah,
Also, like,
that early ninja push with the Hinds was very, very effective. And
Yeah.
it was just Leo X's Blazers that managed to save Nibiru there, otherwise he was done for.
Yep. Yeah, and that's the problem if you just focus on one target. Like the strategy behind 2v2s, if you just focus on one target, you either allow that target's teammate to build up or help you out. That's better. Usually, it's better to each attack the other partner, so you're both busy with their own stuff. I mean, even with me and Gaden, I've had plenty of times where I've been left alone, and when you do that, especially if that player is playing US, you're gonna put yourself in all kinds of trouble.
Yep.
So yeah, maybe after the few ninjas, just help your teammate out and do a nice push. But in the meantime, just try to harass the US player. Try to make sure he has has to pay attention to his own base rather than all of its attention going to helping his mate out. But yeah, it was a pretty good game.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, Cruelty. It was nice to have you comment that last game.
Yeah, no problem.